Life is a mystery. Jared, we're recording another pod. Didn't
I was
expect that one, did you?
I was not expecting that at all. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that. So,
Ah, see, the deceiving thing is you might think I'm hungover. No, 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 no. I'm full of energy.
but also hungover.
Little underlining thing, yes.
Just a little bit.
Oh,
Just a little bit in there as well.
I hold the power of the sun in the palm of my
Oh my. You're full of Marvel quotes today. This is fantastic. We're a Marvel podcast now, everybody. Go and watch Deadpool and Wolverine if you haven't already. If you're this far in the episode and you haven't watched it yet, there's probably going to be a spoiler at some point because we'll probably just make a joke about it. So pause it and go and watch it and then come back.
There's going to be so much relations between the movie and what happened on the weekend in the footy.
Yeah, somehow. I don't know how, but we'll figure out a way to do it.
Wolverine figured out. No, that didn't work. Fuck! I'm gonna rethink my strategy.
That was good. No, I actually like that one. I was a fan.
Oh, you know what? Can never fault my effort.
Looks like you wrote that down as you said it.
Could have quoted myself. And you can quote me on that. Anywho,
Anywho,
I think I'll do as an intro, really, and just
That's a play of the game. That is the play of the game. The impossible angle, and he puts it through. And Portland. Danger, 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 danger. Butler, 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 Butler. Get around him. Get around him. Edge of the seat.
Jared Thomas. Episode 56 of the Glass Table is now live. It's good to have you here.
thank you. It is fantastic to be here on this lovely Sunday night that we pick as our recording time because footy ends on a Sunday night. I say that like it's such a fucking revolutionary idea that we record on a Sunday night after the footy, but I join you at 8:35 real time and and we're having an absolute blast after admittedly Saints unrelated. We're not going to talk about them at all today. One of the weirdest weekends of football ever, I think. I think ever.
I'm going to come right out and say it. That was the best round of footy I think we've had in a long. It may be the best round ever. Now,
It's close.
couple of games obscure this because the Dogs D's. You look at Brisbane St
Brisbane
Kilda.
and whoever they played, yeah.
Mm. Um, I don't really want to throw Port in there because biasness, but also Port bet Sydney, the ladder leaders, top of the food chain, and basically like turned them vegetarian. They are nowhere near the food chain anymore. They are rabbit food.
This is like I said, it's probably one of the best rounds ever. The only other round I can think of in my brain right now that is like this good in terms of quality was that round a few years ago, and it was the showdown round when the Motlop goal. That I think it was that round. There was 4 games leading up to that game that were all decided under a goal. I think it was the Collingwood game the night before, or whatever. The Saints game that was on at the same time as that showdown was also close. All I remember was there was like 5 matches which were like undecided by like under a goal. It was fantastic. But this is in terms of when, like I said a couple of weeks ago, and like when we've been saying all the time, any team can beat any team. This just proves it again. Any team can beat literally any team, and there's probably 10 teams now that can make it top 10, and or 11, I suppose, if you're going to include Collingwood, and anybody in that 11 can beat anyone else in that 11 at any point of the year, and it's going to make the funnest last 3 rounds ever, I think.
There's so much unpredictability about this season, which is pure. This is pure football. It's pure cinema, as some would say.
Yeah.
The only 3 things I could come up with that you could say are the most predictable things that can occur and will occur and never will ever change. Gold Coast can't win away. Collingwood are always going to beat Carlton.
Nice.
Yep. Zoom even agrees. And the Crom under Nix are just not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I would also add under there, Richmond always bad. Just they're just going to be bad no matter what, I think. And yeah, everything else this round, I was just shocked by. Like one of the weirdest rounds of football, results wise, like performance wise, like like time slot wise, 2 games on a Friday night. What the fuck is that about? just
Mhm.
just a really weird round of football, and yeah, like I said, it sets up a very funny last 3 rounds because no one knows what the fuck's gonna happen.
Going into the last 3 rounds,
Mhm.
here's the ladder for you. Wrap your hands around this one, kids. You're going to absolutely love it. Get that 2 hands on the pill.
2 hands.
Swans are top. The Lions are second. Port are third. The Giants are fourth. No Victorian team in the top four. The Cats are fifth. Don't really count them as Victorian at the moment. The sixth are the Dockers. The seventh is Footscray. Eighth are Carlton. That's your top eight. Essendon are ninth. Hawks are 10th. Collingwood 11th. The rest, who are just waiting for their September holiday, the D's, Suns, Saints, Crows, Eagles, North, and the Tigers. All of the top 11
Mhm.
are separated by 3 games.
And the thing is, Sydney is like an outlier to that. Like Carlton coming into this round were second, I believe. I believe they were second as of 7:20 Friday night. They're now eighth. Like this, they are 1 win away from not even making finals at all. Fucking bizarre. Port Adelaide were either ninth or eighth coming into the round or something like that. They were obviously lower thing. And then when they won, and when they didn't just win, when they fucking pasted Sydney, they were then second up until the Lions won today. What the fuck's going on? Football is weird.
It's so I just can't get a grip on what is going to happen. Like every week, we seem to have a clear standout, and it changes from time. Obviously, the Lions right now sit.
Lions are the one, yeah.
They're probably number one ranked in terms of power rankings that everyone seems to post around. I'd probably throw the Dogs in second,
Yeah.
and then you're putting a blanket over Port, Giants, and the Cats.
Yeah.
I think the Dockers are probably on their own sort of time lapse there, and then Carlton and Sydney are probably in the bracket there after that, and then Essendon, Hawthorn, and Collingwood are probably all in similar.
Mhm.
It amazes me that we sit here right now and the first and eighth team are 2 games apart, and yet are probably what we could consider 4 weeks ago the grand finalists.
Yeah. Like up for the first half of the year at the very least, people were like, it's a Sydney Carlton grand finals. What's happening? I think we even said the same. I'm sure for a fact that I fucking said it at some point that I was like ready to see this as a grand final. And now I'm like, Carlton are playing like shit. Sydney are really playing like shit. Like even the teams that are outside of that top 11, so Melbourne, who we've pretty much written off, they are if they win, like they are 2 wins away from being, seventh. Like they're not even like
Yeah.
there's still 3 like you can write them off in terms of they probably won't win the games, but it's like you have it's literally about timing around this time around, and I think like I said it how long ago with Sydney, like they kind of got figured out, and now they've been figured out fucking big time. And I always said that their forward line was measly at best, like very very rough at best, their forward line, and the fact that like they lost to Marty a week before the game even started. I'm not saying Amadi is going to turn around a 110-point win, but that proves that even if you take out another one of those key forwards, they are really struggling, and they didn't even have the key forwards there in the first place to be that good. So now it's like, who the fuck knows who's going to win the fight? Like people talk about the Dogs like coming from seventh. They have a better like they finished seventh in 2016. I said this last week. They finished seventh in 2016 and won through a whole thing. They have a better team right now than they did then, and they're in seventh right now. There is absolutely every hope that they can do the exact same thing and go all the way again because they're timing their run. Like the Lions, we said, are flying right now. They're getting their players back from injury. It's fucking scary. Like, who knows what's going to happen this year? And like, yeah, Carlton was second, now they're eighth. Port were eighth, now they're third. Like, it's who the fuck knows, to be honest.
What do you think the biggest talking point from the weekend is?
Has to be Sydney. Has to be the fact that Sydney were not even just like beaten comprehensively. They never even stood a chance. Like didn't even fire a shot. Like there's a difference between like Sydney losing to us or the Lions or even the Freo game where like they were in it, like they were kind of competitive, but they let the other team do a few things that kept them out of it kind of thing. This wasn't even that. They were never in it at all, which is scared a lot of teams into being like, or just scared them into being like, oh shit, we're fucked. And a lot of teams being like, oh, they're so catchable. And now Port has gone from we need to sack Ken to we're looking for a home qualifying, baby. Like it's fucking, it is bizarre what is going on right now.
Ken is definitely walking out of the out onto the Adelaide Oval saying he has risen, baby girl.
First
Yeah.
Temple Wolverine reference. $6.
Oh, I know we. I don't want to dive into Port too much because I could be here for hours. Does that performance you mentioned like Sydney's the biggest talking point? Does that game 112 points, Port Adelaide winning by? Does that say what result do you reckon is more significant in terms of the season? Is it more of a reflection on how good Port are becoming, or actually how bad Sydney have dropped off?
It's kind of I think what it is a reality check that Sydney aren't just having a poor run of form. They might actually just not be very good anymore. Like I think that's the thing is when they were having these losses, it was like, okay, but they're having a few injuries, like, they're playing some okay teams, like, maybe they're just having a tough run, they're gonna correct it. Losing by 112 points isn't a tough run. That is you've been smashed. And then Port now, that is a game that has capped off a lot of really good games in a row. Firstly, last week they beat Carlton to cement their spot as, hey, we're pretty good, we're going to be in the top eight. And now it's, hey, we're really good, we're going to be top four. Like you can throw it both ways, whichever media you want to go for, really. Like whichever median you want to take. It's Port have, changed themselves to be like, hey, we're as good as we pretty much were last year, that top four level. And Sydney have gone, hey, we're probably not the all conquering giants that you guys thought we were going to be.
I look at Port and I listen to everyone outside of the Port Adelaide circle. In fact, even the South Australian circle. So I'll ask you this, being a Victorian and being someone that doesn't support Port, do you now have Port Adelaide as a credible chance to win the flag this year?
100% I do. I think I even, like, I said it at whatever point a couple of weeks ago, like, they have the tools that they need to do it. Like, I like their back line. Their midfield is obviously so talented. Like, that's obviously like SA media, like they obviously Port and Adelaide will get a lot more raps from their thing. Same with WA, same with New South Wales kind of thing. Port's midfield is one of those things that transcends all of that. Port's midfield, no matter where you are in the country, people will be like, yeah, it's a pretty fucking good midfield. Like, no matter where you are, it's a scary sight. And now that they've put together these string of performances where it's like, hey, we just beat Carlton, hey, we just absolutely slaughtered Sydney. Now it's like, oh shit, they are 100% a chance, and they are more than a chance. They are more than just a sniff at it. They are, we're talking about tiers before kind of thing. You'd probably have Brisbane as that top one right now. And then you could, like you said, you could kind of put a blanket around Port, the Dogs, the Giants maybe, and like the Cats-ish, and the Blues are kind of in and out of that one. Like they're in that spot where it's like Brisbane are probably the favourites, sure, but Port, the Dogs, all these people are right on their tails, and it's like who the fuck knows anymore.
It's amazing to think that 20 years ago we had Port Adelaide, Brisbane at the MCG in the grand final. There's a very real possibility now there could be a 20-year anniversary of that at the MCG again. Just the other thing on Port, and I think we look back to that game against Brisbane and we sit here and we go, the fans, everyone's booed Ken, and I think it leaves a distasteful, like a distaste in my mouth of the fact that the Port fans are being now ridiculed because Port are playing some good footy. I don't find it disrespectful we booed Ken. Obviously, it's not a good look. But you look at that now and you see how the performances have changed since then. You got to think, Port bet the Dogs, who are red hot form, only a few weeks ago by 50, 60 points. You know, they've won, I think, 5 out of the last 6. They only lost to Gold Coast in that. You know, they've beaten Carlton, who had a credible chance this year, sitting at top of the ladder. It doesn't matter the form you're in on top of the ladder. You're top of the ladder for a reason. So that is a credible win. The next 3 weeks for Port are, if it's not only now you're looking at cementing a spot in the A. They play the D's, the Crows, and the Dockers in the last round. Right now, I reckon they sit favourites for all three. Win
Yeah,
all
and
three.
pretty
There is
pretty favourable chance to win all three of those.
that's a home prelim, a home
Yeah,
qualifying
that's
final.
what I was saying. That's what I was saying. Like
So
it's gone from Will can make the 8 to Deport have a home qualifying in their hands. Like it's a bizarre sort of change of pace, and it's a thing that every single week is going to change. And on like the
yeah,
booing the coach thing, on like the booing the coach, it's like every team that does this kind of thing. So we think back to just last season after I don't remember what game it was. Carlton were pretty badly torn apart. I think it was the Brisbane game at Marvel. Carlton fans booed him off the ground, booed Voss, called for his head, blah, blah, blah. Carlton then went on this massive streak. Just last week, Bombers fans absolutely slaughtered the Bombers coming off the ground. They had a win this week against the Dockers. Every
wild.
team, every team has that moment of booing their team, booing their coach. You can't pin it on one fan base being like, why are you guys specifically doing this? And as much as you want to say, like, as much as any team's fan wants to be like, no, we wouldn't do that, we're better. Every team fan base will do that. Don't try and think you're any different. Just because you personally might not do it, there are fans of your team out there that will. So it's just a natural thing of footy. It just happens, of course. But sometimes it's needed to get a sort of message across that this team isn't playing the way you want them to, and it kind of gives them a kick up the arse, I suppose.
Fans cheering a match-winning point as well, like it was a goal, is also very, very funny and
I
very
love it.
amusing.
I loved it.
But we mentioned Essendon there last week. This club is just one of those things that's it's like they're like flies, right?
Never fucking go away.
They're annoying. They don't go away. They're always there. They buzz about. They're never really like good for anything, but they never give up.
They
And I
are,
think
yeah.
we talk about last year's Essendon's ending to a season. There's still a pulse, and I love that for them because now they're sitting there going, a win like that today changes absolutely everything. But the fact that they can do this, I know every week we laugh at the fact, God, they're going to choke again, and it's still very funny. And they could make the 8 and lose the first week, and it will be piss funny. But at the same time, there's a good football story there, and for them to
Yeah.
do what they did against the Dockers, and now somehow resurrect a season that was gone with like what 7 minutes to go in the last quarter or something like that is just that's crazy.
Yeah, and like there's so many there was a few cases of that this week where teams that looked like they were down and out just decided to keep something alive. Collingwood did the same thing. So coming into the weekend, Collingwood were pretty much written off as, like the season's done kind of thing, and Carlton were pretty heavy favourites going into that Saturday night match. Collingwood then beat them, and then you look at the ladder now, there is one game apart from them. And you wouldn't have known it. Like you wouldn't have even fucking thought it. But all of a sudden it's like Collingwood is a game away from Carlton. There's still 3 games to go. Collingwood are well and truly, I wouldn't say well and truly, but they are in that mix of, they could still cause a few rumblings down the bottom of that 8. Carlton lose a few more from here, Dogs fall off a cliff and somehow don't win any more games kind of thing. Collingwood and Hawthorn are licking their lips being like, hello, like we're a chance to do something. If Collingwood can pick up that form, gets a bit hard now. De Goey's gone again, which, by the way, that has to be like his 17th fucking hamstring injury I've ever seen him do.
Don't know, but I'm bloody trading that bloke because I'm sick of him being in my fantasy team and giving me so much potential and doing fuck all.
I mean, he's week in, week out at best. But like, it's bizarre to see now that, 2 of these teams have resurrected their seasons out of literally seemingly nowhere. And like teams have had their seasons completely killed now. Like the Suns are technically speaking a chance, but they're not. And then every team from down there is gone now. So it's it's one of those years though where I wouldn't be surprised if a Collingwood in 11th, like they probably have like a 15% chance of making finals. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those 15% teams squeezes their way up because it's one of those years. It just happens that way.
Crazy. I love it. It's just
There's no other league like it. No other sport like it in the world. There's this
there isn't, is there? It's just
there's this fucking weird. Yeah.
this season is like that EPL year where Aguero kicked the winner in the last second and it made all the difference.
Yeah.
It's just like it's outstanding how it's like equalization on show.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to see that there is no dominant team anymore. We all thought that, halfway through the year, oh, well, Sydney's got this, we're all playing for second. And that was kind of, all right, well, everyone's battling it out, so that's going to be the focus. But now, 11 teams are genuinely in the fight. There is 3 rounds to go. This sport is just fucking incredible.
It's the best. And like we will not know. Like a lot of the years you kind of know, like leading into the last round, like this team's probably gonna have a home final, this team will have a home final. This is kind of where it's gonna be. This time it will take up until 4th or whatever time the 440 games ends on that Sunday of round 24 to know where every team is, because that last game is probably going to decide everything. And it's like you might know who's in there, like who's going to be in that 8, but you don't know where they're going to end up. You don't know who's playing where. I remember last year, one of the last games of the year was Carlton GWS, and if GWS were up like 42 or something like that, and it meant, I think if it was like a goal down below that, I was going to have to travel to Western Sydney or something like that because the percentage wasn't high enough or whatever the case may be. But then it was like, it took up until literally the last second for me to be like, no, we're playing a game of the G, it's fine. So it's like, yeah, it's bizarre, and it's going to be like that again this year, except it's going to change like 7 teams moving spots, and it's awesome. It's the best.
They haven't announced round 24. There is. I know you can't really pre-plan this shit because, it's too far in advance, even for 2 weeks. And I know it sucks because there's traveling and like fans want to go see their teams. But, if you're a fan of the team that's within a fighting chance of making the top 8, book off that weekend regardless if you have to travel in whatever time slot. If the AFL wanted to create, they talk about like wild card round and all that gimmicky stuff that they want to bring into the game to really make it, so much more exciting. If you want to make it exciting, take a leaf out of the EPL. Put all the teams
Put them all
and
at the
games
same time. I would
the same time.
love that.
Just for this year, you don't have to like make it a seasonal thing. Just this year, you've got 10 teams fighting for the 8. You've got 8 teams trying to figure out where they're playing and who they're playing for the first week of finals.
Yep.
It could not be better scripted to have a super Saturday we talk about, right? Just everyone on a Saturday. You can throw in what's the last round? I'm going to get it up. I need to have a look at this.
Right. So I agree with this thing. What I'm going to say is I've got the last round up in front of me. I think you should do 4 games at the same time. No, wait. Okay. 3 games at the same time. So the 3 games I think that should be at the exact same time should be the 3:20 on the Sunday, Lions versus Essendon, Dogs versus Giants, and Freo versus Port. Because they are the 3 teams that are from like 2nd through to 9th, and they will all be jostling for that kind of similar positioning, I think. So the other games you can put whatever times, because it's Carlton Saints, like Saints aren't in it. Carlton probably have a chance for whatever. Cats, Eagles, that's fine. Hawks and North. Hawks probably won't be in it by that point, so you can put that wherever you want. Maybe same with D's and Pies. Richmond, Gold Coast, same thing. Put those wherever you want. Let them play whenever the fuck they want. You don't even have to televise it. Who gives a fuck? Just put them out there somewhere. But put those other 3 games on at the same time, and it would be really funny. Like and then like in each stadium, because like usually at the stadiums you got the 2 big screens kind of thing. Instead of putting any replays up, you just put 1 live game on each of the other ones to like see at the same time.
Yeah.
Great. Just great.
Like the season itself. Like we won't get a season like this for a while where, I hope we do, like every year it's supposed to be like this, but I don't think it supposedly being like this is exciting. I think having this as a general, holy shit, who's going to do what?
Yeah.
And not knowing where the hell your team's going to play and at what time in that first week of September, even if your team's going to make it,
Yep.
That the idea is fully credible. I'd do it. You know
Just
what?
why not? Why not?
Like they haven't even announced a round, which is kind of shit in itself by the AFL. You've 3 rounds. This is 2 weeks time, really. 3 weeks time. So your idea's there. The funny thing is about the last round too is the Dogs play the Giants in Ballarat.
Fucking bizarre, hey. They don't even get a Marvel game to end their year. They have to go and play in Ballarat. And they don't really lose in Ballarat. So you can pencil that
I
one
know,
in
but
pretty
the
much.
Giants like playing in -5 degrees for some reason.
That's true, actually. So the Giants might win that.
That's like the home ground version of Canberra for them.
Yeah, basically. It's the Victorian version. But yeah, it's gonna be a funny little last round. But yeah, I think at least those three games, like the ones we were talking about, so Lions, Bombers, and the good thing is as well they can all be in different states. So like you said, Ballarat games on, and then the Lions ones at the Gabba, and then the Freo ones at Perth. That's three different states. You don't have to like share any stadiums or anything like that. You don't have to have two teams on, one at Marvel, one at the G kind of thing. They're all in different areas. You can throw them wherever you want, and you can have a bit of fun with it.
That Brisbane Essendon game screams the Friday night game of that round,
Yeah,
though.
yeah. I also think Dogs Giants screams that Sunday 3:20 because I think
Yeah,
they'll
because
try.
they'll want something that someone's making. The
And
Freo Port game is a Saturday night fixture.
well, I was going to say the Sunday 4:40 because they like putting the Western Australia games on that time.
Ugh.
And they also in that last round, like other rounds, they'll put any team on there. They'll put the shit teams on there. But in the last 2 years, what they've done is they've put the 4:40 game as something that means a lot. Like they've made the 4:40 game a very important kind of thing. Like they had Carlton and GWS on it last year, kind of thing, because they want people to be watching all the way up until the last the last moment, kind of thing. So if they're gonna do it, I think they'll put Freo Port on that Sunday 4:40.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No, I know it's shit. It's a shit time slot. This is actually our first one of the year, just by the way. We had like 12 last year, and this is our first Sunday 4:40 game that just happened, and we just got beat by 80 something points. So yeah,
You'll be keeping the time slot then, won't you?
I think next year we're gonna get about 15 of them again. So that's fun.
Yeah, it's okay. You know what? It happens.
It's okay.
Someone's got to do it, eh? Like the Cats at they're starting to become the Twilight Cardinia
I
part
always said it.
on the
Those
Saturday.
motherfuckers. Those motherfuckers. I said it all the time. They have those Kardinia Park Saturday games that they win every single time. And that's how they always end up with 15 wins a season. And you're like,
Listen to this.
uh-huh.
Speaking of the last round of the year,
Yep.
round 24, the most exciting round of the year because there's so many teams going to be vying for so many positions. 9 games, there's 8 different stadiums.
Oh, yeah.
Only
Okay.
the one double up at the MCG. Everything else is in a different ground.
Well played. This because they've gone Ballarat and they've gone Tassie. They've just been like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I can get a game.
No game at the Adelaide Oval, yet 8 stadiums.
That's really funny. Where
Bizarre, eh?
did Adelaide play? Oh, they played at the SCG. I was going to say if they played like one of the MCG games, you could just swap them around. But no, that's bizarre.
Yeah.
How many times
Interesting.
would that? That wouldn't happen very often, I wouldn't think.
What, 8 stadiums?
8 or 9, 9 stadiums or 8 stadiums of the case, maybe.
I don't know. But it's just interesting. That last round's going to be very, very a stressful weekend.
Well, even this round coming up, like just looking at it, there is, and like every fucking round has good games now, but like just looking at it, just out of the first thing, Lions versus Giants, Freo versus Geelong, Melbourne versus Port, Carlton versus Hawthorn. Oh boy.
A Carlton Hawthorn game just
Oh,
is probably going to be the most important 12:40 Sunday time slot in the history
the history of the time slot.
of the 12:40 Sunday time slot.
Yeah,
Do you reckon when they
100%.
registered that, they thought, yeah, that's going to have bugger all viewership. No
At the
one going to
time,
go.
yeah, at the time they were like Carlton will be top four, Hawks will be bottom four. Let's just throw them there and hope for the best. And now it's like, uh-oh.
We could generally see one of the best 12:40 time slots in the history of our game that week. And, and it could have like 85,000 people.
Yeah. Hawks fans are coming out in force at the minute because they're very good. Carlton fans always show up. There could be there should be 75,000 at this game. like should be.
How many Hawks fans do you reckon drop off after the weekend?
I think once they know they're done, I think they'll stop. But because they're still in it, I reckon they'll be okay.
That's heartbreaking. That's their second loss of the year where they've lost by, under a goal in like the dying. Well, actually, no, technically this was like 2 minutes to go, but
Still dying minutes. Yeah.
it's like dying minutes. So they either have to really get like under a team's skin and pump them, like they did with the Pies, or they're not gonna.
Yeah. But then again,
That's that little glimpses where they just showcase they're not quite.
not quite the team. I think next year. Although I think they could potentially be doing like I don't want to listen to this because I actually like Hawthorn. They could potentially do what Adelaide did last year, where it was like, oh, they're this close. Next year they're going to be really good, and then this year came along and Adelaide sucked. So I'm worried Hawthorn's going to do that and turn into a team that's really bad next year.
No. They'll be fine. That's just the Crows.
That's fair, actually. But that's SA bubble. You're in the SA bubble. You know more about it. But yeah, that's just my worry.
I know the two words that just describes them, and they suck. You don't need to read Adelaide
No
papers
port
to figure
bias,
that out.
no port bias though. just they suck.
No, it's just general footy chat.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, you want me to give the hang on.
Go again.
Analytical? There you go.
Yeah, got it.
Version of that. They suck.
Sure.
Oh, it's just capital letters. They suck. Crom. You poor babies.
Oh, Crom.
Do you know there's a movie coming out called The Crow that Hoyts are just advertising for? I've never seen a trailer or heard about it in my life, but
it's I know there was an old The Crow movie. They remake here.
no, I don't care really.
Not watching it.
Couple of things I did want to add about the round as well. We talk about Collingwood and Carlton having this fantastic rivalry. It's one of the best. It creates such a unique atmosphere where in the end it is decided by after the siren or a goal in the dying seconds, and it's just out of this world, blows your mind, and it's just great to watch. But the bigger rivalry for me right now is GWS Hawthorn. They create
God,
endings. We talked gather round last year. We talked Tassie earlier in the year. We talked like just what happened this round as well. I don't know what it is, but there is a rivalry there, and it's very, very good.
The Giants seem to do this with a lot of teams. They did it with the Dogs for a while there, and they still kind of have this rivalry with the Dogs where they just create these little mini ones. I think it's just because the Giants are probably better than they should be, like always. Like they're consistently that little bit better than they should be, and they create these little things. Giants Hawthorn is one of those ones where it's like the rivalry is born purely out of like how close the games are. Like sometimes rivalries are born with traditions and premierships. Like that's the Carlton Collingwood thing, and the Carlton Essendon one is like, the history and like important Adelaide, like, it's the closest kind of thing. But some rivalries are just born out of games being little fucking shit games. Giants Hawthorn is one rivalry I can think of. The next one is Essendon and Adelaide. Essendon and Adelaide have a little thing going on where they just fucking hate each other.
Yeah.
It's really funny. And they're my favorite types of rivalries because the fans hate the other team, like just fucking want to just kill them. And I love it. It's my favorite thing in the world.
It is actually really good. Like,
yeah,
I like little mini rivalries that happen from time to time. And it's just, that is very crazy to me. And I picked that up today.
Yeah, North and West Coast purely because they've been the two shit teams for the last however long.
Mm-hmm.
And so they constantly play games that are pretty close. And now it's like they just fucking hate each other. And it's been born out of the fact that they were both so shit, but one team was always out shitting the other one. And it just you couldn't quite figure out who was getting where.
Well, St Kilda and Carlton had that only like over the years. Yeah. I think Geelong and Carlton have had it over from time to time.
Yeah.
At one stage, it was, I think, Port and kind of Brisbane from time to time. I think, no, that's a lie. They're terrible. That's a horrible game to watch. I do like. Yeah, sorry, Brisbane Port, like early 2000s, like they were the rivalries these little rivalries that pop up when you're either really successful or you're mid-table or you're absolutely terrible.
Yeah, Saints and Dogs, like early 2010s, late 2000s, because it was like the Dogs were always coming up against the Saints, who were just like a tiny bit better. And if the Saints weren't there, the Dogs would have made like at least a grand final in that little period, but they would always play close games and the Saints would always just pip them. And I think ever since then, Dogs fans have just been like, I fucking hate you guys.
Well, it's like
they just get really upset.
Port Saints at the moment as well have that. Like you look
Yeah,
at it,
yeah. All our games are close every single time. And it's
the
like,
Port just win them every single
yeah, I
time.
know.
Like
It's the same. It's the opposite way to the Dog Saints one, where now we're just like, can we just win one? Just want one.
it's either, and they're always disgustingly ugly.
Yeah, they're always shit games of football to watch every time.
This year, Cairns, another one somewhere as well in there.
Well, there's two this year. There was Cairns, obviously. There was last year. I don't think they were very good. The game that we played at Marvel, I was fine. Like, it was
Oh,
just,
that was yeah. I mean, Ryder to Grey was in the wet. Like, anyway, couple of
football.
rivalries there over the time.
Funny.
Couple of things. I didn't tell you this what we're doing here, but I've thrown this in as a bit of a. They're called absolutes. So you got if, buts, and maybes,
Okay.
and we talk about that. What's going to happen throughout the year? But these are my absolutes for the season and what will end up being. So if you wanted to come up with some over the course of me,
yep.
Yeah. My first one is Bont's going to win the Brownlow.
Oh,
I am putting it in the book. I don't care what anyone says. The Dogs' resurrection for their season and the way they're bouncing back, the Bont has been a key pillar in that.
yep.
And the bloke was exceptional on the weekend again. So I think he's winning the Brownlow. My next one is he's going to go back-to-back on the halfback flank. It's going to be Dan Houston for All Australian.
Yeah.
I think he's an absolute lock. We talk about Max Holmes. We talk about like Luke Ryan and all these players that have been, thereabouts throughout the year. But the way this man can not only pinpoint someone like a needle in a haystack, but then also go up forward and snag 2 goals and kick one from about 85 meters. The man's stupid sexily good, like I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
And then lastly, my last one, it's only 3. The satisfaction and vindication that I have for the both of us, for us being right about the D's, is just magical to me.
Oh, God, you have no idea how good that fucking sits in my stomach. I love that the D's are shit. It makes me so happy. It makes me very happy that the D's are shit. I got like a couple of things right this year. That's the number one thing where I've been like, I'm fucking glad I got that right, because it's like that one people gave me a lot of shit for. A lot of people had him as the top. I was like, no, their forward line is not good enough to do that. And sure fucking enough, here they are. And I'm like, ha, I fucking knew it. On your absolutes, I was going to say it's going to be a spoiler, but by the time the episode comes out, it's actually not a spoiler because the graphic comes out before that. But Bont is the stupid sexy stats guy this week, as I've started producing the graphic that's going to come out 5 hours before.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's
so
good. Start small.
So it's coming before it kind of thing. And so I was going to say it's a spoiler, but it's not. And the caption was going to be Bontlow. I was like, is it on? Because, right, every time I pick him, every time I'm like, he should surely win it. He never wins it. So I am keeping my mouth fucking shut. I am not saying anything because I want him to win it. And I'm just going to tight lip and say it's going to be Cripps and just let Bont just sneak his way up there. Because I would love that. Dan
Just
Houston,
quickly,
I think. Yeah.
Before you go on to Houston, do you reckon Isaac Heaney will send out another apology video for all the people that bet on him to win the Brownlow? Because now he's so far out of the conversation now since Sydney dropped off.
Yeah.
It's become all that hassle and tassel about it. It's become sort of.
I was going to say that apology video becomes worse by the day purely by the fact that he probably hasn't polled a vote in 5 weeks. so it's kind of laying back the other way, which is funny. So yeah, I think you can revoke the apology now. Houston, I like because I don't think there's actually that many halfbacks that are probably going to go. I think they'll probably put Sheasel there. He's probably the only other one that I'd be like, you could probably do. But again, you could put Sheasel fucking anywhere. The absolute that I'm going to go with in terms of my like AA lock that we talk about, I don't even think he's a lock, but I want him to be there because he deserves it, and he's always right there. And it's Rowan Marshall. Rowan Marshall, right? And I've said this for a very long time, and I will continue to say this. Okay, the evolution of a ruckman these days is not about tap ball good, right? That's not what it is. You can't just be tall and tap the ball and be like, all Australian, Todd Goldstein. Woo, like that's not about it. That's not it, right? Like you don't being a good ruckman is not fucking about tapping the ball. It is about being a presence everywhere around the field. You have to be like a tall man that can do everything, and that is Ron Marshall. He can float back and take contested fucking marks. He can go for
Oh,
big snags. Ron Marshall is the most complete ruckman in the game, and that is why I think he should be All Australian.
is that a pitch or an absolute?
Well, that's the thing. I'm putting it as absolute, but they're not going to pick him because I fucking know it. So I'm going to have to turn it into a pitch and be like, fucking pick him. He's the best ruckman in the league.
But is he better than Cherry?
Yes.
Okay. What's your next one?
And then I've really got another one in my brain right now. But I have the Eagles are still going to be bad next year because, yeah,
Even though they bet the Suns?
I still think the Eagles next year, despite the fact that they're going to have a better Harley Reid, they're going to have listings. Have you seen about all the people that aren't that are leaving? Like Tom Barash is more than gone. Pretty sure Elliot Yeo might be leaving as well. All these players are probably just out the door or retiring or whatever the case may be. I think they might have a chance of picking up some players. I saw Jack Graham might go there. Fucking
What a weird pickup.
who, right? Yeah, fucking sick.
Hey, hey, hey. Do not disrespect my
No,
local
yeah.
legend, Jack
I was
Graham.
going to say local
All
legend
right?
Jack Graham.
I don't
Yeah.
come over there and slap you in the face with Aaron Sipos, do I? Huh? Tomato, tomato, chief.
We pick up anyway. But yeah, I think the Eagles, like people are like, when is this reign of shit from the Eagles going to end after 2021? I don't think it ends now. I think it's going to be going for at least another year at the minimum.
How about you just rethink your absolutes and come back next week with some good ones, eh?
Wow. Nah, I'm sticking
Nah,
by
that's my fault because didn't really tell you about it. And I wrote them down and I thought it'd be a very fun segment, but gonna produce shit like that, might as well not do any more stuff.
my absolutes are perfect. We'll clip this and then you'll look back in at the end of the year when Ron Marshall's All Australian ruck, and then we come back at the end of next year when Eagles are still in the bottom three, and we'll see it.
Do you really like betting on $1 markets? Because Jesus Christ, you just take the favorite every time.
Ron Marshall All Australian ruck is not the favorite at all.
No. But I guess, I'll let it slide because I probably got Houston, just
Yeah, I was
bias
gonna
between us.
say.
I just like seeing your reaction when I call out your shit. Just a
Not taking
little
it.
fourth wall break here that I'm going to do. Every time you see Jared do that little face where he just like smokes it, like that one there, like you think he's going to laugh, you think he's smiling, but he's actually really fucking angry. It's the cutest little thing in the world. And he's just like, look, he'll laugh in any second because he can't hold it. It's so funny. See, you can't even hold the fucking thing. I thought we were frozen, but he actually blinked then, so it's all right. See?
Got it off the fucking other thing. Got it on a technicality.
Technicality. You fuck it. I can't speak English today. Do you want to go around the glass table? Oh, actually,
Yes, let's do it.
before we go around the glass table, there's one person I do want to acknowledge, and he's probably the poster boy along with Travis Boak for stupid sexiness. And he played his 400th game on the weekend.
Yes.
I did write that down. For some reason, when I write shit down on this thing, I just don't bother. It's like I let it sit here and that's it.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's just go on.
Scott Pendlebury is in an elite group of players that we have right now that have played or are playing. And I think we look at players like Zorko, who's near 35 and playing his career best year in footy. Pendlebury is probably one of your first picked on the team list each week for the way he plays. Travis Boak's probably the same in terms of Port Adelaide. These players, we talk about age and how they get older, but they're getting wiser, better, more proficient with the way they use their body and smartness. They play with their brain, not with their body. And it's the way they articulate either they have the ball or they don't have the ball. It is purely special to watch. And like I will sit down. I'm so disappointed that Port and Sydney played at the same time as Carlton and Collingwood because I wanted to watch Scott Pendlebury's 400th game.
Yeah.
Scott Pendlebury to me is that definition of you just cannot hate a footballer from another side. And he
Yeah.
is probably top of that list.
Yeah.
And for 400 games, and he's going to continue on further, but he is by far and wide. He was like Sean Burgoyne.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't hate him. Like,
Yeah.
he's the game's poster boy, in my opinion, in terms of the true athlete and true persona to have as an AFL footballer.
That is like the perfect way to describe it is that he's the ultimate and he has always and forever been the player that you cannot hate and you cannot make me hate. I will always, for as long as I've ever watched him, love Scott Penderbury. That guy went on Norm Smith against us, and I'm still like, I fucking love that guy.
Yeah.
He's so good at football, and I've always said it like for years and years and years. It's kind of slowed down in the last year and a half ish, but his ability to not be tackled, not even be touched, like everything about him is just he's so good, and he has always been so good. And you said it in there as well, like it's the fact that he's managed to like he's played. I saw a thing he played 400 out of a possible like 440. Like he has played so like he has barely missed a game, and it's because he's really smart with the way he uses his body. He's smart with the football. He's got unbelievable football IQ. Like probably the smartest footballer we've ever seen, I would say, or close to anyway. His footy IQ is off the fucking charts, and he is just an all-time footballer, and I love him so much. You couldn't pay me to hate the guy.
I love, yeah, even like he plays for Collingwood, which is one of the more, hated teams in the comp. I just sit here and I watch Scott Pendlebury, and I mentioned he reminds me of Gary Ablett. He reminds me of Sean Burgoyne. These players that stood with the test of time, but you just always wanted to watch them.
Yeah.
And Scott Pendlebury is that. And yeah, you mentioned like his footy IQ's off the charts. The way that man can just put everyone else in 0.5 speed,
Yeah.
and he just finds his next move, and he executes with perfection. There's so many words you could describe Scott Pendlebury, but 400 games. I hope he goes Brent Harvey, 432.
I hope he does too. I think he has to. I think to get there, he has to Collingwood have to make finals and pretty much go all the way, and then they have to get to like an elimination final next year at least if he plays every game during the year as well. So I think if he's going to do it, he's going to have to go another year on top of next year. Depends on how much he's gone down. Depends on what Collingwood's doing, kind of thing. I think if I was Collingwood, if I knew I was going to be shit, I would just let him keep playing until he gets. I'd be like, you know what, we're shit anyway. It's fine. Just let him play. It's all good. Just make him the sub. Do what Hawthorn's doing with Luke Bruce and make him the sub every week. And just be like, yep, we'll bring him on with 5 minutes to go and we'll just fucking bullshit our way there. It's kind of like what Hawthorn did late with Sean Burgoyne. They were like, he's getting a bit old, but we'll just push him there. Just get him close kind of thing. And it's just, I hope he gets there too. Like, he deserves it. He's arguably the greatest Collingwood player of all time. Like, speaking to Collingwood fans and stuff like that, they agree. Like, they think he's probably the best Collingwood player that's ever played the game. One of the greatest players to never win a Brownlow. Like, I think he's polled the most votes without winning a Brownlow. He's won like 6 best and fairest for a team that's very successful. He's had 2 flags. Like, he's he is one of the all-time greats of the AFL, and he will always be known as that, no matter what.
Yeah, 100%. He is, next level.
Yeah.
And he nearly kicked a goal on the weekend, and it was just...
Oh my God, I was like nearly up. Like, I was like, this is fucked. I wish that had gone in so bad.
Yeah, anyway. Scott Pendlebury, continue on. Him and Boak, just like...
Keep going. Just keep going, boys. Just let it happen.
Well, Pendlebury said in his, when he was asked, how much more do you reckon you got left? And he goes, until I, don't have that excitement footy, or until that siren sound and I don't have that feeling anymore, that's when I'll go. You could have that feeling forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Love the game like he does.
Just let him keep going.
Right, I wrote up Travis Boak's contract during the week. I mentioned that I watched his goal 400 times.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it's got Anthony Hudson's commentary over the top of
it just adds so much.
washing machine definitely had to get used after that. But anyway, um,
We've gone early on the stupid, sexy derailing of this podcast.
wasn't even it was a stupid, sexy moment for sure. But you know, I'm not going to
Yeah, I was
comment
gonna say,
anything
I know where you're
further.
going. I think we put
Show up the graphic sign. That's all I have to say. Blurred vision. I was hungover, all right? Jeez.
leave it alone.
The question this week was for Around the Glass Table. Which player on your team would win an Olympic gold medal or Olympic medal, and which event? Obviously,
Yes.
didn't have too many people comment besides Renee, who gave us a few port boys, which I kind of agree with. Boke
I was gonna say these are pretty
surfing,
good. I like this. Yeah,
Boke
Torquay boy, Travis
surfing,
Boak.
DBJ gets the soccer. I mean,
Yep.
I'm putting that man in a penalty shootout before anyone.
Yeah.
Charlie Dixon with boxing. I just wouldn't want to walk into a room with Charlie Dixon,
No, I feel
let
like you
alone.
put him in any
He's freaky.
you put him in any situation like that, I feel like I'm not walking out in a good way.
I feel like he'd be like mid 2010s, like wrestling, like the Big Show,
Yeah.
Kane.
Yeah. He's got a bit of
Uh,
Braun Strowman vibes about him, I say.
yeah, a bit of authority, like the
Yeah.
authority. He'd be in
Yeah.
that type of. Braun Strowman is a very good reference.
Bit of Braun Strowman about him.
I'm using that.
Feel free. Yeah, that
That
one.
is a graphic. One moment. Do you want to take us through the last couple while I write that down?
Yeah, we've got a Leary Lee for volleyball, which is very, very good, obviously. We have Horn Francis or Zach Butters for running. However, there was also one that I saw from Adam Schultz who said he made up a new event for Zach Butters in debating slash shit stirring. And I feel like while he would be very, very good at it, if the version of the event that we're talking about is like you get disqualified like you can in Olympic events, I feel like the amount of fines that Butters had, maybe he steps over that line, and I feel like he probably get disqualified almost instantly. So fantastic idea. However, probably gets himself knocked out in the first round.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I was when I like with this and I was like making the graphic and stuff like that because it was like the dogs one. I saw Cody Weightman in there and I just kept thinking about how like everyone just calls him a diver and like a cheat, and I'm like, God, diving for Cody Weightman, it's like a classic. He put the same with like Ginnivan and like all these players that just dive all about, and I was like, they would fucking. I was like, you could make anything with those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'd win a lot of medals for diving.
We have a lot of. I mean, to be fair, like any soccer players would probably clear us, but there's a few that are pretty good out there for the AFL side of things anyway.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
I mean, I'm trying to think of other ones. On all accounts, Rory Lobb is an incredible golfer. Speaking of the golf gold medal event, I think is happening now. But on all accounts, Rory Lobb is one of those kind of guys, a very good golfer. Speaking of Rory Lobb, by the way, talk about career resurgences. That guy's a fucking freak right now, by the way.
And you just liked him.
Yeah. Oh no, I as a forward, he's horrible. He's a terrible, terrible forward. However, as a key back, he is reinvented.
So do you sit here as a like a as a punter, we'll call
The
ourselves, I
punter.
reckon.
Yeah.
Do you sit here and look at Rory Lobb and you think, and if anyone needs to turn their career around, you just get your missus or someone in your family to make a TikTok about you, and that's the way you can resurrect your
Why you
career?
do it. The TikTok got made, and then he probably went to the club the next day, and they were like, "What the fuck was that about?" And he was like, "I just need you to give me a chance." And they were like, "Right, we'll put you in the back line at training, see how you go." And all of a sudden, it was like the world changed. Like all of a sudden, he was this really good footballer.
It works because I tried it, and that's why I play forward now.
He went the other way.
Mm. I showed him clips of me at the
Did the
Oval.
reverse Roy Love.
Yeah, I'm so much better than Rory Lobb.
I dare you to say that to us.
All right.
I mean, you kind of have already if he watches this. Yeah, Rory Lobb.
Rory Lobb would be a very good volleyball player.
Yes, that's true.
Get it? Lob. That
That was incredible. That's one of your best ever.
well, I have my moments, don't I?
Oh, that was very good.
Funny too, because your screen like froze for half a second. I was like, "Am I going to do it? Am I going to do it?" And then, yeah,
Just fantastic.
pretty proud of it. Thought of it on the spot too.
Yeah, that was very good. Well, there you go. There's another one for volleyball. Him and Aaliyah can make a team.
No, Leo, I thought about this on the weekend.
Hmm.
Leo played his 150th, right?
Yeah.
Do you think if you did, I don't know, I think it was one of my weird autistic moments for footy. Well, I was like, oh, 150 games. What if you did like 75 times Aaliyah? Because it's two. So
Yeah.
75 times two is 150. So you do 75 times Aaliyah is like two, and then Aaliyah times Aaliyah equals 150.
Yeah.
It's like,
And then it's like the first 75 games, the last 75 games kind of
I can't believe I just put that in the recording.
thing. So he played more games for Port now than he has Swans, surely, right?
He's been with us since 2021.
I'm surely.
Want to look it up?
I was gonna say finding.
While you're finding, Nick Blakey could do running for Australia.
Illicit.
Pace.
Nice. Yeah,
Bobby Hill could be another one.
yeah, Bobby Hill slash Brad Hill. Darcy Wilson could be a bit of a sprinter as well.
Liam
Um,
Ryan's high jump.
that's a good one. Jeremy Howe as well.
Mm.
Um,
But Jeremy Howell looks like a high jumper. Just the
yeah,
way he can like move his knees and his arms, they don't flap about as much, and they're like he's very like strong in his core and gets up. Like if footy doesn't work out for you, Jeremy Howe, I know like a lot of things can go wrong and stuff like that. Maybe look at high jumping.
maybe that's a good idea for Jeremy. I found the earlier thing. He played 64 games for Sydney and he's played 86 for Port Adelaide. So more games for Port Adelaide.
It's better at Port anyway. He's an all Australian.
He is an Australian Port. I was going to say it would have been really good for my brain. Like I would have it would have scratched that itch in my brain if he'd played like really close to 75 for each team. That would have been like real. That would have been real good
Imagine
for
if
the brain.
75. It
It's
was like
pretty close.
Aaliyah, 75, 75.
That's what I was saying. Like it would have been really fucking good for my brain. And I was already picturing the graphic in my head, like it's cut down the middle, and like his name's like Aaliyah, and one side's in the red side and one's in the Port side, and then it's like it's a photo of him in the Swans and a photo of him. I've got the whole graphic in my brain. I can't even fucking use it for anything. Fuck.
You just went on a journey and
I just had a whole like mental breakdown in my own brain in like half a
it was
minute.
live. I saw it. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
It was like last year at one point when Joel Amati, because he was like 23 and he played his 23rd game and he was close to kicking 23 goals exactly. And I was like, please, but I think I missed it by one. And I was like, like, I'm
And you
so
made him stupid sexy as well.
yeah, I did for that reason, I think.
How's that working out for you?
He's kicked about one goal since he kicked 90 against Adelaide, so not great.
Aaliyah as well playing his 150th game against his old side
Yeah,
and
that's
winning by 112 points has to be one of the more credible milestone matches to ever like have, really.
yeah, I would like to see a highest winning margins against your former team like graph thing. That's a swamp thing graphic if ever I've seen one.
Yeah, well, we'll just get onto that one a bit later, I reckon, because that's really, really stupidly sexy. Really don't like that segue.
It caught me off guard again.
Couldn't give a shit if it caught you off guard. I didn't like the delivery of it.
Okay. I liked it, so if that's anything.
Yeah, well, I always seek approval from you because I never really feel good enough in myself. So I always have to look for approval. And if I get it from you, then that's all that matters. So thank you.
You're welcome. I don't.
Jeez. Imagine having a vulnerable moment and then just being like, and yeah, just buy the fucking clip.
Stupid sexy.
AFL players.
Oh, it's frozen again.
No.
Anyway, we'll talk about that one after the show. Anyway, stupid sexy time. Have you got one this week?
Yes, I do have one this week. We kind of, I suppose we already touched on it a little bit, but like not really. So this weekend, obviously, as we saw, Saturday night, we spoke about it, rivalry, Carlton versus Collingwood, right? It's one of the all-time, like the setting, you couldn't think of a better setting. The MCG, Carlton Collingwood Saturday night, 85,000 plus people there kind of thing. And they're like, despite, like it'd be half Carlton, half Collingwood, everyone's kind of there for one man. Everyone's there for sort of one show, one performance that is bringing kind of all these 85,000 people together. And like, you don't really get that with a lot of people. It takes a certain sort of magnitude of person to be able to bring a whole 100, nearly 100,000 people together. Ben Henry, right, playing Let It Be by changing it into Pendlebury. Talk about catching off guard. There you go. I have had that stuck in my head
I have as well. It's
for
so
like
good.
4 days, and it is just the best. And the fact that he got to play it and like he changed it up a little bit for the actual game, but like just incredible, purely fucking incredible, and I love it.
That's a great selection. That song is stupidly sexy, but it is also the fact I have watched the Collingwood TikTok of him performing in front of the boys so many times.
Yeah.
The gratitude and like the satisfaction of doing that in front of the team you support and being able to have that song. And
Yeah. You know what I love as well? I love that the boys got around him. I love that they didn't just like be like, oh, who's this weird bloke singing a song? Like they loved it. They thought it was fucking hilarious. And it is. It's so funny. Like it's just so good and it's performed so well. He's a
yeah,
very funny guy, Ben Henry. Like he's been doing funny stuff for a really long time. Very good stuff. And like one of the all-time footy songs ever. I love it so much. And he deserves to be in this segment. And the song deserves to be in this segment. The fact that he got to sing it in front of 86,000 people is just I'll play Ben Henry.
that is a wild selection. I don't know how I can follow that up. That's caught me off guard. Anyway, welcome aboard, Ben Henry. Let it be. Let it be. Well, my selection, you talk about icons that bring people together and everything. We talk a lot about people that we really enjoy, stupidly sexy. We talk about moments and everything. There's been like Scott Pendlebury on the weekend brings everyone together. Travis Boak brings all the Port fans together. You know, the Beatles, obviously, Let It Be, clearly brings the best out of everyone.
Yep.
In their creative minds and brings them together. But you mentioned as well in there, like the people we love, like the greatest spectacles, and well, mine's more of a greatest showman kind of vibe because on Friday night I watched Deadpool and Wolverine, and I have never seen Six Mount Everest poke at me through a fucking screen before in my life. But Hugh Jackman and those cheeseboard abs, I'm telling you, when you're 55 years old and I'm sitting there as a 27-year-old male eating a full box of popcorn with Pepsi and thinking life's not that bad, and I see that, you are one stupid, sexy Wolverine.
If anyone deserves to be in this, it's Hugh Jackman. I knew you were going with that. And you know what the funniest part of all this is? He was my second choice. Because I was like, literally up until the start of recording, I was tossing up which one I was going to be. And it would have been like the second week in a row we picked the same one. But fuck, man. Yeah, if I look anything close to that when I'm 55, man, I'm having a great life.
It's not even 55. If I ever look like
Ever.
that,
Yeah, at any
like
age. Yeah.
in any
Yeah.
point in my time,
Yeah.
like sometimes you know, I'll see like two abs like there, and I'm just, and I'm like, holy shit, that's
On.
like a first, like, hold him, and then I'm just reaching over for my Mars pods. Like it's just there's like moments in time where I'm, you know, yeah, like, yeah, and that movie in general, fantastic.
Yeah.
We've been quoting all it, so I'm just very glad that we got a moment to share that. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
I
pretty
was
pleased with myself.
that's a very good one because I was very close to picking it myself. And just he's always been he's one of the most liked, the most lovable men in the world. Like there isn't really anybody that will ever say a bad word about Hugh Jackman. Everything he does is fucking fantastic. And I literally said I was like I wasn't expecting him to get ripped for this. I was like I reckon the reason they're doing the whole suit thing is because he doesn't have to get ripped. So they're like it's fine, man, you wear it. And then spoilers, but not really in the last, 15 minutes of the movie, it all comes off and you're just like, what the fuck?
I don't know if I want to say this comment because I probably will get it clipped and cancelled and everything. No, I'm not going to say it.
Real bad.
I don't really want to say it. I really want to say it, but I don't have the balls to say it. Okay, it's just. I'll tell you off air.
Okay, we'll save it.
I think that might be one of the worst comments I've ever thought, ever. The really edging everyone here at the moment, but like, I don't. Oh,
I feel like,
hey, it's.
like edging wasn't the right word to use in this situation.
What do you think they call it? The Essendon edge.
Oh, fuck.
Anywho,
Anywho,
should we do pack v pack?
let's do some packs.
Let's fucking go.
Ah.
Okay, I'm gonna open mine.
Uh-huh.
Are you gonna open yours?
I've opened mine. Ooh. Oh, the ASMR.
The what?
ASMR.
I thought you said like all as one word. I was gonna be like, are you like stupid?
No.
Asthma.
Oh. I don't know if I heard about it. Bit of
There's no
ASMR.
sound, and you're just making a face, and it's kind of
I was really hoping it was going to come through, but that's sad. That's fine.
yeah, that was interesting. It's like you're moving and you're making your face, but I can't see it and I can't hear anything. And we just did stupid sexy. Anywho, I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
I'm not happy at all with this start.
Not a good start.
Lucky shorts.
Bad start. Absolutely, admittedly, a bad start. I have.
Hang on a second.
Yes.
These are 2023 cards.
Uh-huh.
I was in a Collingwood top.
They must have photoshopped it, surely.
You reckon that? Well, just like his form, I dropped him.
Never mind. My first one is Mark Blitzovs.
My next one is Nick Newman.
Not bad. One of the better small defenders in the league currently. Talk about not bad. You're gonna love this. Asama Radaglia. Oh,
You speak about the greatest showman. That man is
that
the
man.
greatest showman. That
This
man,
right here.
he is the best key forward in the comp by a country mile right now.
After Jesse Hogan kicks 5 and
Couldn't give a stuff.
Jeremy Cameron kicks 6.
Asaba Radagalia's 1 goal 4 is the best 1 goal 4 you'll ever see. Luke Ryan is my next pick.
Nice. The Mr. Statman. Mr. Statman
Oh,
himself.
good God, that man is just
Just gets
annoying.
just gets so many touches. He just gets that many touches. Luke Ryan is not even funny. Oh, Anderson.
Like Noah Anderson, he's a good
I
footballer.
think he's going to be a little he's not going to win the Brownlow, but he's going to be one of those guys that's like the one in the top five where you're like, oh, that's weird.
Did it last year too. Came
Yeah, I think he's going to do similar. Him and Sarong, I think, are going to be like disgustingly high.
Max Gawn.
Good footballer, very good at football.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Not having his best year, Nick Martin.
Still a good footballer.
Mm,
Toby Green, speaking about not having his best year,
still pretty good though. Played well today.
was very good. Very, very good.
Speaking about not having his best year, Luke Parker, he's barely played, is why. Uh,
Could
might be.
that be something to do with his form or
I think it's the fact that he's old, probably.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no.
And like my Mars pods packet behind the camera has just risen.
Oh yeah. Talk about your AA locks.
I've got no further comment on that.
The back of mine, because you get your little ones in, you get your ones in all those. The back of mine has Nankervis on the back, but it's not. I'm assuming it's not Nankervis on the front, but like you can just see like his like thing on the back.
No Curvis?
That's actually even funnier. I don't know how this has gone. Talk about your Australian locks. And look on the back, you can just see.
That's crazy. Mine has one too, but it play a game. Pick the head.
I feel like I know that. What am I thinking that it is?
You know that head?
It kind of looks like Oratio Fantasia's, the top of Oratio Fantasia's head.
Bit of a cowlick.
But I feel like he would
Fading.
have one of these cards. I'm assuming the one.
I reckon it's Darcy Parish.
Yeah, maybe. Interesting.
Because it's black and white. You can't really tell.
No.
Anywho, I'm gonna follow that up with
With
a
team captains. Okay. There you go. So Oratio is out of the picture.
so far from a captain. Captain of the sub or the recovery department, maybe. But
Yeah.
Josh Kelly as a star power is going to be in my next pick.
Yeah, nice. Little fancy card, little fancy shiny boy.
Richie Rich.
We have one of these little card crafts, little things. We have an Oscar Allen, little card crafter. Little shiny
Going
boy.
to be a good footballer, that man.
He will be, absolutely. He was good last year. Not having as good a year, but will still be good.
Mm.
Here you go. My
I'm
man.
going to speak 1,000. I don't know what he said.
1,000 minutes a second or whatever it was. Yeah.
My heart is beating 1,000 minutes per second.
Why has he got such a high pitch voice?
Don't know.
Speaking of the Eagles, speaking about not having his best year, Dom Sheed. He always has 2018.
Oh, really scraping in that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Speaking of scraping, Josh Simpkin.
I don't know. Speaking of scraping,
North.
yeah, okay, that's fair. Good play.
And that's my pack.
My final one. It's a good way to finish for you as well. My second port player of the evening, Toddy Marshall, Mr. Todd.
Hello, Toddy. Oh, God, it's Jared again. Hello, Toddy.
I'll just leave him here for the rest of the show. Just talk as if
So,
I'm.
everyone, we're just doing a podcast with Todd Marshall. Now, Todd, how does it feel that you've been pushed out of selection thanks to a Sabo Adegalier going forward?
Yeah, look, it's pretty tough. Full credit to the boys. Full four-quarter performance. Look, we'll just get back at it next week. And, if anyone's going to take my spot, I know it's a fight out there. And Ken's got my best interest at heart. So we'll see how we go. Hopefully I can squeeze my way back into the side. And yeah, I know Sava's playing some good footy, but, we'll just keep it within the four walls and really go back at it next week. And yeah, really, keep it within the four walls and keep the culture going. That's the best part. Fuck, that was good. That is one of the all-time off the cuff speeches I've ever produced.
Off the cuff. Sensational. I've just Rory lobbed that up for you and he spiked that down. And it's just good God, that's funny. So I'll clip that up. People can decide. It's too hard to tell. But
I like my pack more than I like last week's one, I think.
I think I win. But hey.
You got every week.
Death, taxes, full credit to the boys, and I win. That's my
That's the motto.
I really just live your life like that.
Eat, sleep within the four walls, repeat.
Quite literally my life. Very, very funny. Well, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, before we do go, I would actually love to hear, because I believe that Sposs had a very big win on the weekend that I'd like to get a little bit of a rundown for, and from the man of the hour.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
yeah, we did good. It was a full team performance. There wasn't really a lot of passengers in the side. We were just really consistent with our performance. We stuck to our guns. We were just really productive and proactive with the footy, and I thought that we were able to handle the nice Saturday conditions really well. And I just really want to give full credit to the lads because I reckon they stood up in a moment that we needed to, and the pressure's been on us from the media during the week, and we were able to come out fit and firing away from home, and to put in a little patch of a performance for myself as well with a couple of goals, which was 20 for the year now. It's as a full-time defender turned forward, I have full support from my teammates. So I couldn't do them without that support. So I think we're on a good story at the moment, and finals are looking very likely. But we will not use the F word until it's official.
you might have broken the record for most amount of footy media sayings in one. You are like media trained. That was incredible to listen to.
I was inspired by
that was straight out of the Channel 7 fucking media department's handbook. That was just like reeled them off and just knocked them down.
Yeah, well, I just think paying homage to that. The full credit to the lads and the way we were able to, we're all very well media trained. I think some people are better than others in certain situations, but I seem to be the one that speaks quite a bit on camera. So just have to stand up when needed, and I do that time and time again on this show, on the footy field, wherever I am. But I can't do that without the support of many, many people in my life and on the footy field with my teammates. So Sposs all the way.
Yeah. Put him in front of a press conference. If we put the banner up behind you, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah. Speaking of local footy performances, since we're talking about that, I heard on the grapevine during the week that, and by during the week I mean in the last 24 hours, that a certain football club down at Dingley decided to have their draw of the year, and certain someone that is a source of mine told me that he played on the wing and had 45 touches. He walked off the ground with the biggest set of balls you will ever see because he was like sick and like leather poisons. And he reckons that not only that he played very well, was best on ground in a draw, but he should just be playing seniors straight up. And I just want to see if he does give full credit to the boys because from what I heard on that grapevine, I'm not too sure what I want. Yeah. So, do you have any theory to that, Jared? Thomas.
You've heard a few wrong echoes on that grapevine throughout the actual story of the game. Yes, it was a draw. Probably my second draw in my footy career ever, by the way, which don't know how many you've had as well. I fucking hate the Philly. I'm not very well media trained. I don't know if you can tell I've just dropped the F-bomb. But that game, one of the more entertaining games of football I think I've ever played in for one. Thought I played pretty well. Definitely didn't have 45, but I thought I played pretty well. I'm very sore. Someone
Mm.
jumped and didn't just like stand on my foot, but like jumped and landed on top of my foot. And oh man, that hurt. That is painful. But the game itself, one of the most entertaining games of football we've been a part of. We knew it was going to be close. It was 1v2. We were one playing two, and they're the team that are probably the most likely to be there at the end of the year. And it was obviously away from home, so it was, the pressure was on, and it was a cracking game. Let's put it that way. One of the best games of football I think I've ever been a part of. And yeah, but it sucked at the end though. The end was real shit. Really hated it.
It was one of the worst media performances I've ever seen. But I'm sorry that you had to experience a draw. And at the end of the day, I don't think it'd be giving any credit to the boys. And no wonder you had 45 and walked off with leather poisoning and thought your balls were massive.
Okay.
Maybe instead of doing kick to kick with yourself on a half-back flank, you might want to give the ball to the other people and you might actually win the game next time. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I look forward to everyone tuning in to this week's episode. We look forward to seeing you next week as well as we count down to this massive run home to the finals. And, you'll be seeing Dingley in the finals, Sposs in the finals. And, yeah, I look forward.
Full credit to the boys. Great podcast. I think we're going to go back at it next week and really make sure that we really put our heart and soul into it. And I think one of the performances this week is one of our favourites. And I think the way that we end up signing off on these podcasts is in really good nick. And I know that we'll be able to keep on following through with that and sign off in the ways that we know how. And yeah, I'm just looking again. Full credit to the boys. They really know what they're doing out there and are really enjoying their time. And I just really appreciative of everything. And I just think the way that it all goes, the way these podcasts continue on is just, it's one of the greatest things in the world. And between these four walls, it's something really special that we're building here. And I think everyone down from the coaches through to the janitors through to the property stewards are really looking forward to it. And